credit for putting Turning Point together. And one of the things that we had are some other speakers in addition to the president. One of them is this Patty Marin. Now, her daughter was slain by and killed, murdered by supposedly, at least allegedly, one of these people that were here illegally. Molly, I want you to listen to this clip of her and then get your reaction to it.
We're joined today by Patty Morin, the mother of Rachel Morin, a beautiful mother of 5 who was murdered by an illegal alien.
The thing I appreciate the most is that he heard the cries of a mother. And he cared. And he made a promise that he was going to protect us and that he was going to help us.
I mean, this was a heart-wrenching moment up there, and before this young crowd who can, see a mother up there. And then when Trump followed up with what she had said, he followed up talking about so many angel moms, kind of broadening this. But you could really see the personal relationship that he has with her, more than a political relationship, when he called her up on stage. Patty, come on up here. And that she was able to do that. You can, it's far more than politics here. And you can hear it in her voice and in the relationship they have.
Yeah, Tammy, you can. This is personal to the president. He's speaking from his heart about this, and he's hired a team led by Tom Homan. Tom also spoke at this event. Let's listen to what he had to say at Turning Point today.
For the last 3.5 years, I wake up every morning pissed off about what this administration did. This is the most secure border in my lifetime. I've worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. Why do I care? I care because I stood in the back of a tractor trailer with 19 dead aliens that suffocated and baked to death, including a 5-year-old little boy. That's why I'm pissed off. And that's why the best day of my life was President Trump getting reelected to save lives.
Yeah, I think this is the kind of the hallmark of who he's chosen for the cabinet, because it's a reflection of what we've felt when we've been waking up every day, what the audience has felt waking up, is that, we're enraged, in shock, disbelief of what's been going on. And also the connection between Patty and her daughter, and the fact, for those of us who've had the pleasure of speaking with President Trump to any degree, doesn't change, and the compassion is there. So it is the compassion he's felt for Patty and her daughter, for Americans in general, when he fell in love with the country during his first run for office, and why Homan and the 300,000 children we talked about last night, is that you've got hundreds of thousands of missing children. That has got to be a priority. And then once we find out what happened there, that's going to help us make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, David, we had Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of Homeland Security, on CBS this morning. Listen to his comments. I want to get your reaction to that after.
We certainly have received reports of children being trafficked, even those as to whom we know where they are. That is outside the responsibility of the Department of Homeland Security. It is unclear because we were not left with good records. Data was not kept. And so that was also one of the great challenges.
He's lying. He's flat out lying. Number one, they created the system. 2, those children were released into HHS custody, and you saw the tragedy that played out there. Another reason to have RFK Jr. in there as well is HHS will play a huge role in getting them back. I've talked to Tom about this for years now, and especially since he's been named as the designated border czar. And these are the things. Alejandro Mayorkas is just a liar. There's no other way to put it. Those children are missing. The tragedy. They find a 13-year-old in New Jersey being beaten in traffic just a week ago by illegal aliens. Years ago, I warned people that Queens had become the #1 destination in the country at one point for women being trafficked and young women being trafficked across the southern border. They knew where these were. We were reported on it. Alejandro Mayorkas chose to become a human trafficker along with the Biden administration.
That's what it is. It is human trafficking. They opened up those borders. They created their rewards and incentives. Yep. They invited them here. They literally flew them into this country, and then they somehow act surprised, and then they try to blame somebody else. Oh, we didn't have the records. Well, you were keeping the records. All right, we got to move on to Capitol Hill because outgoing West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin Well, he has a message for Democrats, and it's not so good. Have a look.
The D brand has been so maligned from the standpoint of it's toxic. They have basically expanded upon thinking, well, we wanted to protect you there, but we're going to tell you how you should live your life from that far on. It's the mindset of the left.
He does, and it's as though he's been living in a cave. I'm not quite sure why he's suddenly surprised. The first book I wrote about the left and its problem was in 2001. I mean, what is this, 25 years ago now, a quarter of a century, and Joe Manchin surprised and suddenly shocked, that there's gambling in the casino. But it's just remarkable, and I don't take him seriously, but at least I don't even know if it's better late than never, but it's a little absurd, right?
David?
Don't even believe Joe Manchin, who learned from his uncle how things work in West Virginia. He was a political power boss. Look at his voting record. Joe Manchin has been lying to the American people, playing the moderate for years, and his voting record shows that.
Yeah, one of the big problems with the Democratic Party is juxtaposed with what President Trump is doing. Biden promised to be the transitional leader, to be the builder of this party, and here comes President Trump with this young cabinet doing what the Democrats promised to do, and that may ultimately be the big difference.
Yeah, I would argue that Joe Manchin has always been a Democrat, but the party has continued to lurch even further to the left, to the crazy progressives.